Can you hear that melody? Can you feel that melody? Well, I've come to share some time with you and Stephen Dinan. It's sound healing time. Fred Johnson is my name. Well, actually, it's Fariduddin Frederick Abdul Rashid, but that's too long. You can just call me Fred. And it's a sound healing journey, calling out to the ancestors of time to be on our shoulders now. That's how I usually start a journey with people. So I thought I'd start it that way today. So let's begin with Stephen Dinan. Let's begin in that pure shift network way.
Thank you, Fred. What a delightful way to open. I'm so used to being the first voice on and bring you on, but this is perfect to like really have you sort of call us in with your voice, with the playful melodic narrative that you're so masterful at bringing forward. So that speaks a lot about the magic that you bring. So I'll do a little bit of a standard intro here. So welcome everybody to today's program. My name is Stephen Dinan, the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I am so blessed and delighted to be with you here because getting to dive in with one of my favorite human beings, a true maker of magic with the voice, with sound, with music, and really somebody who invokes a sacred spirit in each thing that he does. His name is Frederick Johnson. He's from the Inayati Sufi order. He's a spiritual elder, director, vocal performer, chanter, and author. He's played with some amazing souls across the planet. He is deep on a path of transformation, and he really has a very unique way of weaving sounds into something that uplifts and heals and opens us. So we're going to be talking about how to discover ways to voice your melodic narrative through Afri-Sufic sound, sacred, creative, and uplifting sound healing practices born of the African diaspora. So Fred, you've already been introduced, but let's welcome you right now as well. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Stephen. It's an honor and a joy to be with you, my friend.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to dive in, we're going to play together, and we're going to do some practices together, sound healing practices. And I also want to let you know up front, we have a brand new program with Fred. Super excited about it. It's called Afri-Sufic Sound Healing. So more to come. We'll share about that at the end of the hour. So Fred, let's hear a little bit about your backstory. You have a really unique story that brought you to this weaving of spiritual traditions and sound healing practices. So share a little bit about that before we go into some of the practices people can take.
You know, Stephen, it's been a really interesting and continues to be an interesting journey for me. I actually, sometimes some of the what would be perceived as the biggest challenges in our lives sometimes are really the solid foundation for our way of being in the world. This whole journey of sound and frequency is something that I've known since the very beginning. My story begins at about the age of 18 months old. I became a ward of the state in the state of New Jersey. And so I was in and out of foster homes. And and so my early the first 5.5 years of my life was really kind of a journey from place to place to place to place. I didn't have that natural, regular, consistent nurturing of mom and dad and or grandma, auntie, brothers, sisters. I didn't have that experience of kind of connecting to another. I didn't know who my mother was. I didn't know who my birth parents were. And so in those early developmental years, oftentimes creation will give you exactly what you need. And for me, I needed to feel the frequency and vibration of my own voice. I mean, if we think about when we nurture our children early on, we hold them close to us, we talk to them, we hum to them, we sing to them. I didn't have that. And so I was a natural sound maker. The body has a need for sound and the body has a need for movement and motion. And so I was one of those children that was a perpetual rocker and I created I created sound within me. And so, I mean, really, that was my blanket. That was my warm blanket. That was my calming to move my body, to create motion, and to create sound. And as I got older, 3 and 4 years old, I could do it in a way so that people could barely hear it, but I could feel it throughout my being, and I could feel it as a calming. If I didn't feel well, I could change and shift sound to just kind of create a womb for me to make it all right. And because I wasn't really active and violent, no one, people didn't push back. It wasn't until later on, I was at the age of 5 and a half, I was adopted by two wonderful, wonderful human beings. And they were a little afraid of my rocking thing. And so, as you evolve into life, you learn to not do things that scare folk. I mean, I know the story has it that I went to a number of different homes where people considered my being a part of their family, and the rocking thing, it just frightened them. And they said, maybe not. But I say all that to say that at a very, very, very early age, I connected to the frequency and vibration of my voice. Then, as I got a little bit older and around 6 or 7 and started to sing out loud, people would say, "Oh, he has such a beautiful little voice." And so it was my first introduction to feeling included. I had lived an early life of feeling a little bit of exclusion. I wasn't really a part of the norm. But when I would sing, people would say, "Oh, sing that again, Fred," or "Freddie, would you sing that? It's so beautiful." So I started out with an internal journey, or what I call the inner garden journey of feeling and knowing and feeling the frequency of my own voice, and then to sing publicly and to feel included by what was perceived as the beauty of my voice. So that was began my journey. And then throughout my life, my voice and song and singing was how I grew to know to be in the world. And I would oftentimes in my early 20s and things of that nature, I would sing for people. I would sing. People would ask me if I would come to memorial services and if I would sing at a memorial service to just help to ease the pain of a family losing someone, or I would sing at kind of an interfaith gathering, or of course I did concerts and I sang. I mean, music was my life. And I would sing. I would go to hospitals and sing for people in the hospitals. I once did a went and sang for a young child along with a dear friend of mine, Steve D'Annunzio. We went and sang for a young teenager who had been in a coma for a couple of years. So I knew what it was to sing for others. But then I faced a health challenge in my life and didn't know how to access it for myself. And had a wonderful mentor who said to me, "Fred, there's this whole body of knowledge about healing your voice, healing your body with your own voice, healing yourself through music, through sound, something that I've seen you do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times for others. And so you should delve into this." And that began my introduction into um, understanding and beginning to learn the body of knowledge and the body of science around healing through sound and through your own
Hmm.
voice, which helped me to heal through my challenge, which opened up doors for me, which brought teachers to me, and which helped me to also, in a different way, understand sort of the aptitude that I had for singing contemporary music, and I was given the opportunity to find the links and the growth and development of that contemporary music from ancient time and from ancient traditions. And so here I am today, kind of the sum total of all of that, and have committed my life to sharing that experience for both knowledge and for healing for others.
Mm. Well, it's an amazing journey, and there are really no accidents of the kind of the situation you found yourself in as a soul coming into this planet. Let's talk a little bit about sort of the melodic narrative approach that you've really built, and then how that's deriving also from more ancient lineages and African lineages and Sufic lineages, because I think that's a really it's something really unique. There's a power that I've seen you light up many different stages and have people feel so seen with this process of like singing people into a room and singing people into being and singing stories into being. It's really quite a beautiful offering.
Well, Stephen, I mean, it is. It's very, very ancient. And that's the beauty in it. You know, I had the opportunity to study with three phenomenal teachers, actually four phenomenal teachers, two from Africa, one from Ghana in West Africa. His name was Baba Ishangi, Baba Kwame Ishangi, and then Baba Jimo Kuyate from Senegal. Um, and Baba Ishangi was a master storyteller, a master healer, sort of an organic and herbal healer. He was a phenomenal drummer and dancer, and came from the Sankofa tradition of Ghana, West Africa. And so he really deepened my understanding of the history and the lineage of storytelling, of the melodic narrative. And Baba Jimo Kuyate was the 149th in his family's tradition of the griot or Jali tradition, which are oral historians and oral tellers. And for thousands of years before we had language, before the ancient kingdoms had a written language, everything was shared orally. It's like the understanding is that story, that everything that happens in the community, that the history of the community, the well-being of the community, the announcement of a child, that all narrative can be of that melodic texture or frequency, because it aligns the head and the heart. And so the ancient African traditions of oral telling, oral storytelling, is such an important part of both ancient history and history now. We know that the diasporic reality of folk of African descent who were taken from Africa and became slaves in many parts of the world. So that original tradition, oral tradition, wove its way and found its way into the melodic and musical traditions and sacred ritual traditions here in America, that those of us who are the descendants of Africa, it's an important part of every style of music that's roots and branches from Africa are an important piece. The Sufic piece, this whole concept of the creation of an unbroken circle, the making of an unbroken divine circle between you and your creator, we and our creator, we and creation. A concept of remembrance, to remember something in Arabic, it's zikrullah, but to remember our creator, however you know to call your creator, to really to eliminate or to move into an alignment with the harmonic resonance of the divine being, of the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun, the perfection of the universe, to sing that in, to dance that in, so that there is nothing between you and that which is perfection, the breath of life itself, being itself, and how to communicate with both that which we think we know and that which we can feel, that beautiful dance along the pathway between the head and the heart. So this tradition, this great tradition of melodic narrative, which is not just communicated out, but it's felt inwardly and it moves from the heart into the world so that we'll be both informed and inspired and moved to do that which is healing and whole for all of us is an integral and a foundational part of the African oral tradition. And I'm honored to have studied with and to learn from these great masters and from two amazing Sufi masters, Sheikh Hisham Kabani from the Naqshbandi Sufi order and Shahabuddin Les from the Inayati Sufi order. Um, these all blend together, and I've been called and guided and inspired to share this with the world, share these practices so that we can be whole and complete and melodic from the inside out and into the world in all ways that we serve each other.
Super inspiring to hear that context, and it really is true when you're seeing that melodic narrative. It's like it opens the heart. There's a smile that automatically comes to your face because there's something about it's more joyful and uplifting. The messages penetrate more deeply then as well. So I wonder if you can take us through a little bit of a process. Like so much of what you do is very spontaneous. And
Mhm.
so what is it? How do you enter into starting a melodic narrative that and weaving some of these threads together in a way that really opens a situation or opens a deeper listening?
So it starts, Stephen, with the one divine element that connects us all, and that is what I call the song of the breath. I wonder how many of us really listen to and feel this amazing experience, fully feel this amazing experience of the song of the breath. So, what do I mean by that? Well, one of my teachers said to me, when you breathe, where do you breathe from? And I, because I had had some training, I said, yeah, I breathe from my diaphragm, Baba. I mean, I take the breath in, I breathe from the diaphragm. And he said, well, that's an amazing answer. He said, but when I breathe from the edge of the universe. And everything between the edge of the universe and I become one with every inhale and every exhale. So for me, and I invite you to just take a moment and just listen and feel the beauty of the inhale and the beauty of the exhale. For this is our divine song, the song of the breath, which we sing in every moment of every day. It's our life source. It's that which connects us to life and living, to being, and we take it for granted. But let's listen to the song of the breath, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So this becomes the pathway for this beautiful song of the breath, to recognize and awaken and connect to the song of the breath, because the song of the breath is that which unites us. It's that gift that we're given to be oneness. And so the first anchor in the melodic narrative is to breathe into this sense of being connected to all and being connected to allness. That's the heart centeredness of the journey of the breath, the beautiful song of the breath. Matters not where we come from, matters not what our language is, matters not whether we're tall or whether we're smaller. None of that matters. That beautiful union of the breath in and the breath out becomes the foundation for melodic narrative. For we have connected now the heart to the mind and freed the mind to allow us to share beautiful narrative. For when we acknowledge that there is a sense of oneness, then breath is complete and we are connected, and the head and the heart dance as one. So I could begin to share a story that I've been so excited for the last few weeks, when Stephen invited me to be a part of the shift journey. What a smile I had on my face, and my heart smiled, and I thought, there's so much that I must remember now, so that I can share with others, and we together. See, that's how it happens. That place of breath, that place of oneness, not in my head is like, okay, I've got to do something now, I've got to say something now, but to be in a place of oneness from the inside out, so that I can allow, that we can allow our connection, our voices, the frequency and vibration of our voices, whether it's word, or whether it's tone, we represent the frequency, the harmonic frequency of oneness, and then the narrative begins. And everyone can do that, but it starts from being in a sense of oneness.
I love that. It was funny. I was just about to ask you to give us a demonstration with what you were teaching, and you just dove right into it. So I think coming out of the oneness. Well, so obviously you have a high level of vocal mastery as well. So there's the resonances and the harmony, or the ways that you're playing with your voice are really sort of very magical. How do you recommend for those of us who are just kind of starting out with a voice to sort of like play into that in a way that we're not so self-conscious, and just start to kind of play with some of those dimensions that you're bringing forward?
That's a fantastic question, Stephen. And the truth of the matter is, yeah, I do have an aptitude, but anyone, all of humanity can do this, because you know what? It starts with that journey that I was kind of gifted with early on in those developmental years, is to really begin a new relationship with our voice, to really feel our voice in a different way. And I know, I'm sure that many folk that are involved in this interest in sound journey or practice of sound journey, we've talked about tuning and toning the chakras and really feeling the frequency and vibration of our voices. But it really starts with just that, just really being able to yeah, to really begin to feel our own voices without any conversation about this sound right, because it's not about how it sounds, it's how it feels. Because most of what I do in melodic journeys are no words at all. It's just really the transference, using the ether of the breath to really move sound from myself into the world. So it starts by really just learning and awakening and beginning to resonate the temple of our being, the fullness of our being. Not even, trying to just focus on each of our chakra, our energy centers, but just recognizing and feeling the beauty of our voices. And so that's the first part of it. And then the second part is to give yourself permission. And this is a part of what I teach in the course, is to give yourself permission to not be afraid to explore. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, if I just allow myself to hear and feel what it feels like, rather than to speak, to allow the tone to move in alignment with my mind. Even if I did something like, Fred is my name, and I feel the pure vibration See, it's as simple as that. It's that alignment of thought. Because we think, I mean, how
Hmm.
much time do each of us as individuals, Stephen Dinan, spend talking, communicating with other people?
A lot of time.
Right. And we don't think about it, right? We just do it. We do it because we've practiced it. It's become second nature for us. And
Mhm.
so when one hears, but wait a minute, I'm going to do this melodic narrative thing, and then now I've got to learn. No, it's just really a question of transcending above and beyond whatever concepts that we have of this limited ability to communicate by just speaking, and allow ourselves to what Baba Ishangi would always say, just let me hear that, let me hear what's dancing on that in elongated breath, right?
Hmm.
So when we speak, we kind of speak like this, but what can I allow to move on my elongated breath? So I want to invite folk, right? I want to invite folk to just, and probably our sound is off, you know what I mean? But just invite ourselves to just take a breath and just sing your name. Like I'll go, Fred Johnson, and try to feel the vibration of my name within me, right? So just do that. We'll take a breath together and just do that, and then just say, and say your name. Here we go. Ready? I'm Fred Johnson. Let's do it again. And maybe a higher pitch. Ready? I'm Fred Johnson. Because that's a part of the journey too, Stephen. One of the things that I love to share is how does the frequency and vibration of our voice feel within the temple of our being?
Hmm. I loved it. I was doing it on mute so I didn't interfere with you, but it's like, yeah, realize that speaking voice is such a limited range. And when you kind of go up and down, it just kind of is like almost like an energy massage of different parts of your body.
Right. And we take that for granted and accept that in song. We think of that as song. That's why, like, when sharing melodic narrative, it moves beyond, and it moves beyond the sounding, right? And it really, and this is one of the most ancient philosophies, is the longest distance traveled is the distance between the head and the heart, right? And so when moving into melodic narrative, it shifts your hearing in a way so that you listen differently, but you also feel differently as well. So ultimately, what's important is the message itself, just like in language and conversation, it's the message. But it's this alignment between the inner and the outer, and that's, a part of what I love to share is what's happening within us. What's happening? What are we transferring into the world? And that's where those connectors happen. Whether we're wanting to connect in prayer or meditation with that our knowingness and our understanding of that divine oneness, that creation creator, or whether it's just humming within and creating tone that aligns the full measure of our being, and we just inwardly meditate. I don't that I'm sure you would agree with me, Stephen, that I don't know about you, but there's a conversation that goes on in my head all the time, right? I mean, there's that inner voice that we talk about. What's the relationship between you and your inner voice? How does that feel? So can you create a palette, like, create a palette of tone? And it's amazing. If you create a palette of tone in meditation and then go into silence, whoo, the depths of the silence magnifies like fivefold. It's amazing.
Love it. Well, I know you've got a couple of specific practices that you want to guide people in as well. The quiet callings and seeds of the lotus. I think this would be a great time to dive into some practice, and I can just step back and you can guide people in that.
So in my work in the world, it's really interesting that some of the concepts that I've shared already with you, people receive that, and we really kind of embrace tone and sound and frequency and its possibilities. But I've found that one of the most challenging elements of breath, sound, tone for us to really embrace, to really, really embrace is the concept of forgiveness, which is a really, really, really important. A forgiveness practice is really important, and it's a really dynamic and powerful opportunity. I mean, I've been in situations where, like, I've got people toning, and we're toning into joy, we're toning into love, and 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 we're just like swimming in the ocean of love, we're swimming in the ocean of joy, and then I say, now take that energy and take that frequency, and now let us swim deeper into the ocean of forgiveness. Almost immediately people disconnect. And so I'd love to share with you a beautiful seed of the lotus. The seed of the lotus is a light language from the ancient Sankofic tradition of sound healing. And there's this beautiful, beautiful seed. And I want to say it for you. It's Ameda Kunusa. Ameda Kunusa. Now, the beauty of Ameda Kunusa is that not only do we hear it, not only do we know what its meaning is, I am forgiveness, you see, because the ancient philosophy is that forgiveness feels like something that we do. And I don't know about you, but I know that there have been times in my life when I had an experience and it was hard for me to let go of what I was feeling about someone or something that happened. It was hard for me to just let go. And the ancient teachings tell us that things can only imbalance you or hurt you to the degree that you hold on to them. So me da kunu sa. Ah resonates here in the heart center. Me resonates here in the crown chakra and in the third eye chakra. Ah me da resonates down in the third chakra. Ah me da kun resonates throughout the body. Kunu sa. So not only does this seed of the lotus have a meaning, it has a frequency. And so, if you would, if it feels right for you, just close your eyes and listen to your breath for a minute as we breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out and create that knowingness of oneness, right? That breath pathway to really manifest and become one with the breath song, and recognize that this meditation, that this frequency journey is designed for us to let go and release anything that we're holding on to, that it disenables our ability to be whole and complete, to let go and forgive. And it may feel slightly difficult in the mind's thinking in this moment to let go. So, Ameda Kunusa is I am forgiveness. And so in this moment, I might just be a little bit in alignment with the frequency of forgiveness. But if I call forth to the divine energy of harmonic resonance and allow myself to be forgiveness, then I enter into a pathway of unlimited possibility. And with every breath, I become closer and closer and closer to the fullness of being forgiving, of being forgiveness, and allowing and releasing that energy that I've been holding on to and return to the fullness of my being. So we'll start with 3 breaths. Breath in and breath out. Ready? Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. In oneness, breath in, breath out. Now we breathe into Amida Kunusa Amida Kunusa Aminda Kunusa Amida Kunusa. Now with the mouth closed. Big breath and words. Amida Kunusa Amida Kunusa. Now say with me, I am forgiveness. I am forgiveness. I am forgiveness. I am forgiveness. Now just breathe silently. Breath in, breath out, and feel your body. Feel that connection between the frequency and vibration of the intention, the frequency and vibration of your breath, the frequency and vibration of this beautiful mantra, Ameda Kunusa. I am forgiveness. An alignment of your thinking with your feeling, an alignment with the ancient understanding to let go, to breathe and release. Ameda Kunusa. And this is not about song or melody, wherever it feels right for you. Amedas Kunusa. Your melody, the beautiful vibration of your voice. There's no wrong way, for the frequency is a part of the harmonic resonance of the universe. And Ameda Kunusa will awaken that pathway of forgiveness. Ooh.
Mm, so tender and sweet. Thank you, Fred. Really
Oh, thank you,
beautiful.
brother. Thank you.
Well, I just love being in this field of healing and exploration with you, and love for you to share just a little bit more. I know you'd wanted to bring in some understanding around working with ancestors and ancestry as well as part of this practice. I think that sounds really, you had a notion of ancestral staircase. I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that.
Sure, the ancestral staircase symbolizes all of the wisdom and knowledge that has gone before us. And in the Bogalong Feen and practices in the alignment with the Sankofic teachings of Africa and the Sufic teachings is that those who have gone before us, those lessons that have been learned, that they exist, they continue to exist in the universe, and we have the opportunity to access that wisdom. It's the old concept of we don't know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. But if we give ourselves the opportunity, and if it feels right for you to really acknowledge, know, and understand that divine wisdom, that cosmic wisdom, that the wisdom of those who have gone before us, those who sit now on the ancestral staircase and gaze upon our being and doing and send forth energy of possibility, that we have the opportunity to truly be able to access that, to have that move through us. Because we oftentimes we perceive ourselves as these solid beings, these solid, here I am, I stand solid. But in fact, oscillating waves, frequencies and waves and oscillation and water and fluidity and energy, frequency and vibration of wisdom, of ancient wisdom is all around us, and it can inspire us if we open up to expand our thinking, to open up our opportunities to really realize. And so the journey of the knowingness, and again, that oneness breath that we talked about, that also brings into alignment that ancient wisdom that is there, that's for us and that is with us. We breathe into that, and so all of our being and our doing for ourselves, and all of our being and our doing for others, and all of our being and doing for the planet, for the universe, for all living things, we abide in a beautiful divine, uh, what we call a frequescent womb, the essence of the frequencies of all being, all that has been. We know that, that in space, that there are stars that have long been gone, but we still see their light, because it takes so long for their light to reach where we can see it. Well, our ancient teachings teach us that ancient wisdom and that ancient knowingness is there. And if we call upon it, if we allow ourselves to be open to it, and I'm talking about the ancient wisdom from all of the teachers, from all of the ancient traditions. They all are a part of this repository of divine wisdom and divine essence and divine knowledge and divine energetic possibilities that is there for us if we acknowledge it and allow it to be a part of our being. And this is very, very, very much a part of the Afri-Sufic teachings.
Mm. Love it. And there's one more area that I want to explore a little bit, and is like how to really make this a daily practice. So many of our spiritual practices are really something that we start to anchor in a daily way. And I think you've given some glimpses of that. But how do we actually weave this so it becomes part of our spiritual work ongoing?
Well, I tell people to start by at least once a day, and it helps maybe at the beginning of the day is to really kind of breathe into this breath of oneness and just really acknowledge when you first begin your day to take that first breath in and breath out. And really recognize and acknowledge that I breathe in and I step in today in oneness with all of creation, quieting the noise of all that stuff that's out there in the world. So to really, with intentionality, develop a new relationship with our voices, and with the sound of our voices, and with this healing elixir and life-giving elixir of breath, which we take for granted. I encourage people to sing and make sound. That's a really, really important thing that everybody can do. And I'm pretty sure that everybody sings in the shower. And you don't sing in the shower because it's the most acoustically perfect space for you to sound magnificent. It's because you're washing up, and the water's there, and you're feeling good, and you're washing your hair if you have any hair. And life is like a joy, and so it's a joy to sing and to feel the vibration of our own voice. It's also very healing because it awakens and ignites the vagus nerve, which is a real source for our health and well-being. So, Stephen, really the thing is to really develop a new relationship with our voices, to really, to live into the consideration of wanting to create a perfect union between my head and my heart. Is to really be conscious of that, is to use our voices, and again, and to quiet whatever little, if there be one, whatever little voice there is that says, well, I can't do this. Of course you can, because it's not about, it's how it feels. It's how the sound feels, and not necessarily how it sounds in the world. We've created a womb around ourselves, or kind of this cone of this is acceptable sound. But just to explore, just to begin slowly and gently, and just we do it anyway. There are certain times in a day where you just kind of stop and go, oh man, that's a sound healing.
Hmm.
That's an opportunity. That sigh is so important. I invite you to just take a deep breath and no one has to hear it. Just feel your voice within you. Feel your voice within you. So begin a new conversation and a new relationship with your breath. Feel your voice within you, and know that there's no wrong sound. That there's not a wrong way to do this. And that's a big part of the journey, is learning, recognizing that there's a lot more loving that you can do on you, for you. You're loving. So hear your voice, feel your voice, hear your breath, feel your breath.
Hmm.
Listen to hear sounds around you that are joyful sounds, and give yourself permission to try to match that sound, or just breathe that sound in, like if you hear the sound of a beautiful bird, to just breathe that sound in, and then just you don't have to try to mimic it. You don't have to be a mockingbird. Just feel your voice. Allow the dance of your voice to be within you, and to hear, when you hear yourself speaking, hear yourself with with a different sense of that. Many of us say, I hate the sound of my voice. I really hate the sound. Well, first of all, get rid of all that negative talk. You know what I mean? And just really be an explorer. Really explore the breath and the sound, and where do I feel it, and how do I feel it, and know that it's so important to you. Embrace the full measure of your voice, like you embrace your willingness to communicate with others. Begin a journey of exploration and communication within yourself, developing a new relationship, even for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just to allow yourself to do that.
Hmm.
Another really great thing to do is read aloud. If you see something, just read out loud. Hear your voice in a different way. Those little
Hmm.
simple things that we can do will then inspire you to do more and to do more.
So many great tips and insights. And I know that they're probably the best opportunity to really put these practices into motion in your life is your upcoming program. So I want to spend some time talking about that. And first, express gratitude to you for working with us on this. We've long loved you and your work, and it's really beautiful to see it come to fruition in the form of a course that can really take people deep into these practices. So the program that Fred is going to be teaching for Shift is called Afri-Sufic Sound Healing. Liberate your melodic voice and personal narrative through sacred and creative practices born of the African diaspora. You can find it laid out in detail at the URL Afri-Sufic, Afrisufic, soundhealing.com, afrisuficsoundhealing.com. It's going to be a 7-week program, very experiential, a lot of fun, and really open up some new possibilities for your voice and your connection with spirit, that unifying energy that can open when you really learn how to move your voice through your body to tell the narration, tell story through your voice and in a creative melodic way. There's so many fascinating possibilities that can open up when you really allow your voice to be a vehicle for more of your soul, which is what Fred is really doing. So, Fred, I'd love for you to share a little bit about the program on the high level and your intention for it, and then let's go through the modules and give people a preview of what's coming next.
I think, one of the most important hopes that I have for this journey together with folk is to really, literally awaken a greater understanding of how important and how powerful your voice can be for your health and well being, and for your ability to communicate with others and communicate in the world, and ultimately to really amplify the energy and magnitude of you and your being, in really helping us to realign and regain a sense of our personal and our collective humanity. To give you some techniques and some levels of understanding that really it really dials into the reality that each and every moment of our lives we're on a sonic journey, and I can share with you some ways to deepen into that, to understand it more deeply, to use it for your health and well-being, and to really to have fun, to enjoy it, and to really have a whole new understanding, whether you just want to enrich your own personal life, or whether you have an interest in sound healing and wanting to delve into that in relationship to voice and rhythm, or whether you might just you want to understand and deepen into your ability to authentically communicate with others. This course will give you some amazing pathways, and new understandings, so that what that oftentimes what you hear, you'll appreciate it to a different, then on a different level, and you'll really be able to amplify yourself into the positivity of your energy and how it relates to the harmonic resonance of the world, the universe, and the harmonic resonance of nature and creation itself.
So great. So, module one is called Awaken Your Voice Through Storytelling, Speaking, and Chanting for Healing and Connection.
Yes, and so module number one is really designed to, kind of give an overview. What's the difference between, I mean, here's my voice and I use it for different things, but it really opens up a broader understanding of the power and importance of story, your story, hearing other people's story, and magnifying and creating stories into the world. What's the what how, when just in speaking and just communicating in the world, what are the roots and branches of that. So there's the internal voice, understanding the voice, the internal voice, understanding the importance of your story, understanding the importance of hearing other people's stories and hearing stories in different ways, helpful hints and an overview of speaking just in general, your general communication, not only what people are hearing, but what people are feeling when they hear your voice. We'll talk about a basic overview of the chant, and the journey of sacred chant, and the journey of chant for healing and awakening and cultivating the inner garden of your being, and connecting to that ancestral energy and that higher energy out there in the universe, all for the purpose of connection. And how do we connect, and how do we understand the importance and the depth of sounding on all of those levels?
Module two, Activate Inner Healing Through the Power of Sound.
This is a journey of what I call the journey of the inner garden, feeling the sound of your magnificent voice within you, moving sound through the body. A deeper conversation about the inner well, that inner well of your inner vision and your inner being. really utilizing tone, continuous tone, to feel that tone move through your body, to feel that tone move through the organs of the body, to feel that tone move into the center of your intuition, to feel that tone move through the heart. So it's a real inner healing journey.
So, module 3, discover heart-centered presence for authentic living.
So, fundamentally, in this module, we're really going to delve into the journey of really being here now, being in a sense of presence in this moment. I'm sure many of you have heard the term, yesterday is gone, tomorrow may never come. Today is the day we live. Especially in the Sufic path and the Sufi path, there's a lot of conversation about really being in the now, in this moment, in breath, in consciousness, in awareness and a knowingness of here where I am seated in this divine, perfect moment. All possibility exists, and fundamentally, to be in a place of presence is to be in a sense of completeness, creative completeness, in fullness of breath and fullness of being. And this is so important in our personal health and well being, and also to be able to really be connected to that oneness that enables us to quiet the noise of that which is around us. So, even if it's preparation for meditation, or to really be in presence so that the ancient divine wisdom can move through us, and where the head and the heart are really in a state of coherence, so that the fullness of our being can be articulated into the world, and the fullness of our ability for wholeness, health, and well being can really amplify. So, this concept of living presence is such an important part, especially as sort of a precursor into melodic narrative and those other higher levels.
Module 4, transform thoughts into song for creative liberation.
Welcome to the world of melodic narrative. So this is where we really start to move into allowing our thoughts to float on the ether of our breath and the ether of our voices. Some of that will start with just kind of spontaneously speaking what we're thinking, and we'll begin to create that introduction into melodic narrative or elongated breath and tone, beginning now to allow your thoughts to move into this space of narrative where it touches others and begins another level of communication. This is, I mean, they're all great. This is a really interesting module here, because this is the kind of next step where you're starting to step into. All right, I'm going to quiet any uncertainty and be present, be in the moment, and begin the journey of the melodic narrative.
Module 5, embrace sacred resonance for global healing.
So as we have gone through the prior modules and really now begun to integrate ourselves into a space to begin to consider the possibility of really creating narrative, or just creating continuous tone to create sound that really connects to others. It's the stepping into a realization, which in and of itself is as ancient as time. Our especially from our West African traditions, to recognize that the tones, the words, the intentionality that we move into the world is either in alignment or in a place of dissonance. And so we begin now to consider how, through the expansion and connection to our surrender and centeredness of the using of our voices, um, for our own wellness and for global, to really begin to hopefully participate in the sending forth of frequency and vibration and tone and intentionality that begins to universally connect to the global energy, and begin to help to swing that pendulum towards a purer place of greater good for all. So how do we infuse this dynamic harmonic resonance and positivity into a global space that can feel chaotic at times? And so we're moving beyond our own personal journey now into participating in the inclusion of regaining a sense of our humanity.
Module 6, elevate communities with the power of your voice.
And so this is an extension of where we are in the prior module, to really begin to create some narratives, to begin to write some things, and begin to explore where, with intentionality, prior to and beyond the scope of being spontaneous, to begin to write and understand with intentionality, how can we really work and begin to elevate the energy of communities, not in terms of politicization, not in terms of that, but elevating, calling forth that oneness energy, that one breath, elevating the community with the frequency and vibration of our voices to open heart, to open their hearts, to begin to feel, not just hear and think, but to feel a communal frequency of oneness. Again, helping to expand our engagement in helping to heal our communities.
Finally, module 7, amplify oneness for societal transformation.
Again, this is kind of the third level of 5, 6, and 7. Is to then this is where we'll really breathe into, and it's our opportunity to bring forth kind of all that we've learned, right? Because each module is in alignment with each other to bring us to a concept of feeling and knowing a sense of vibrational and energetic oneness, and so to amplify that. And so our seventh module together will be a celebratory journey where we are melodic narratively and energetically really bringing forth the energy of that, and also an opportunity in that final module to ask any questions, to try to kind of fill in any of the connective tissue that helps to bring a full sense of completeness and wholeness, of oneness to this journey, this journey of 7 weeks that we've taken together.
Well, what an amazing program this is. And again, you can find it all mapped out in detail at Afri-Sufic soundhealing.com. And so in addition to the 7 90-minute live modules, you're going to get recordings of every session. You have both video and audio. You'll have word-for-word transcripts to work with, study, and highlight. There'll be weekly exercises you can do at home and practices to deepen your exploration. There's a Facebook community group to support you and create really cool connections across the world, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And on the page, you'll also see a number of extra bonuses designed to enhance your journey. There's a video teaching from Fred called the Harmonic Resonance Meditation. Fred, do you want to share a little bit more about that?
The harmonic resonance meditation is a really wonderful journey into recognizing that your voice is a perfect addition to the harmonic resonance of the universe. So that meditation is designed for you to really fall more deeply in love with the frequencies and vibrations that you're called to create for your own healing or to align with the universe. The meditation is designed for you to know and to feel that energy of allness and completeness. We recognize and know that everything that we see and know, that we are sound beings, that our universe emanated from sound, and that all frequencies resound at all times. So it's a meditative journey into calling your inclusion into the harmonic resonance of the universe, and invites you to tone along with me as I take us on this meditative journey.
And that's just one extra bonus. There's more on the page too. There's a whole video teaching from Fred on Pathway to Peace. He's also done a whole lot of wonderful work as a peace builder on frontline areas from domestic to international. There's also a special bonus you get if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. That is called a Ancestral Medicine sounding journey. This is a video teaching from Fred, and to get your special bonus if you sign up right away. Fred, you want to share a little bit more about that?
That is again a calling forth, an awakening and a calling forth to the ancestral energy. There's a one of the seeds, one of the sankofic seeds is ethupa, 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 ethupa. And that's like that ethupa is the calling forth of the acknowledgement of the greater consciousness of the universe. And so this meditation that I've created for you is really a journey to begin to align that understanding and that willingness to call forth the ancient ancestral energy to be with you, to be a part of your journey, regardless of where your ancestors come from. You understand that in our physical world, we have a tendency to divide by tribe, but the ancestral wisdom is all inclusive in the great spectrum of spirit consciousness. And so this meditation is designed to really awaken that and to celebrate and to call forth that.
Hmm. Well, it's an amazing program that you've created, and just being able to practice and play with you in these domains, I know is going to be such a liberation for people. You're a delight to be around. You're deep on a spiritual path of awakening. You are really able to create a sense of permission and exploration for people to open new possibilities. So, what a great offering. So, a few more things about the program. We've kept the investment very accessible. It's just three payments of $128, so you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start on May 9th and run Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific or noon Eastern. And there's a lot of great testimonials on the page too. I always find that it's important to read those through and just get a sense for how much joy, how much liberation, how much confidence building, how much freedom someone can create. And Fred is really a remarkable teacher in that way. So you will find lots of great testimonials and lots of opportunity to open up new octaves of yourself at Afri-Sufic So Fred, we're at the end of our time together. Feels like probably it would be great to have you like sing a little, do a little melodic narrative to close us out with an invitation to join you in deepening this journey.
I really look forward to and feel very, very honored to have the opportunity to share some of the journey that I have been given. And I feel like the world now is really calling us to love ourselves and to really live into loving and knowing each other. It's so important. And so thank you, Stephen, for the opportunity to be able to share this journey. And I want you, each and every one, to know that just like the rhythm of the drum, like the heartbeat of creation, we together will share the dance of awakening our voices to celebrate and elevate our lives together, our journey towards feeling and knowing sound oneness. Please, please journey with me. Please, please, I guarantee that it'll make you smile, make you a little frightened for just a little while. But as we move beyond those barriers, we'll be as one and have a whole lot of fun. So come on, come on. ancestors will be in a sounding place of joy. Join me. Thank you, Stephen, and thank each of you for sharing your most important commodity, your time to learn and get the opportunity to see what we'll share together, what we'll enjoy together, how you'll be a whole, complete being of sound. I'm just showing off now. Please join us. It'll be a lot of fun. I so look forward to it. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you.
Love to you, brother. Thank you so much. It's
Thank you,
awesome,
Stephen.
awesome to be with you. And if you want to go further with Fred, you're going to be in great hands to have a liberating adventure at